of the season, and I've got a bit off through. I've got someone that's not an Arsenal fan on my channel.
Yeah, you can tell by the background.
Yeah, there's a bit of a risk as well considering who he supports. But yeah, it's a North London derby, so thought I'd get one of them lot to get their side of things. And yeah, I'm actually a Tottenham fan. From what I can make out, one of the decent ones. Sam, how you put
that exactly?
Well, not how you put yourself across. You're not so self-absorbed arrogance and believe you're bigger than what they are.
Yeah, I don't really like putting my eggs in one basket in any situation. To be honest, definitely not with Tottenham. So I think that's just me as a person, to be honest. So yeah.
To be fair, I can't blame you on that one because it's not like Tottenham don't have form for letting you down over the years.
Well, I'm talking about right now. 4 out of 15 Premier League wins. Like I'm definitely not
worried now. That's not form you want going to any game, especially in North London.
Form, full stop. That's like a team that's like
that's relegation form. That's like relegation.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that form does end. Hopefully, at some point, like we're not going to be like losing so many games. Because if we carry on like that, then we're definitely not going to get top 4. The whole point of getting top 4, finishing as high as possible, as obvious as it sounds, is winning as many games as possible. You lose a lot more games than usual, then it's not going to help you at all.
But then saying that, if you can't get top 4 this season, you've got Chelsea throwing points away, United throwing points. If we can't, both of us can't get top 4 this season. Questions have got to be asked of our respective clubs.
Yeah. I feel like you definitely have a better chance compared to last season of I'm just looking at it from the start. You may, out of Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, I'm missing anyone out? No. Well, if you want to include Everton and Wolves and even Leicester right now who are up there, I feel like Arsenal are expected to maybe come out a bit stronger. But again, it is the start of the season, but Arsenal's form. Yeah, it's been against Burnley. It's been against you lost to Liverpool, but who was the other team you played?
Newcastle away, then Burnley, then
Yeah, it wasn't exactly a challenging start, but again, you've still got to win those games, especially with your away form. You had to do that against Newcastle, and it's just now about how Arsenal carries this on and not get carried away. Which I do have to say it. Arsenal do have had so many occasions where they get carried away. They start off really well, and then by February or March time, normally that would be under Wenger, it falls apart for Arsenal.
Yeah, and that's what sort of has me on the edge. As you're doing, I'm not getting carried away yet. And no, because we have the squad and we've spent the money, and people say not in the right places. Obviously, David Luiz wasn't my first choice centre back, but it is what it is.
It's an upgrade. You got to take a
yeah, exactly. And it's keeping Mustafi out of the squad as well, so that's a positive I'm taking out of that as well. But we've upgraded. We've lost Monreal today to Real Sociedad, but in the process we've got Kieran Tierney in, so I'm not fussed there. So when he comes back, I think he's a better left back. Overall, he's got potential to get even better. Obviously, got Bellingham still injured. Holding's coming back from injury, and that's what people didn't. A lot, especially Arsenal fans, didn't clock onto last week. We're playing against European champions, full stop. But we're missing more than half of his first choice back 4.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't invest heavily on defenders. You spend 80 million on Pepe. I don't know. I can't remember actually how much it was.
I think it's up to 72 million pounds.
72 million. Sorry, it was 72 million on Pepe, and it's like you're upgrading attacking players, which you don't necessarily need. I mean, the more the better, I suppose, but you shouldn't be really taking that approach when you actually need to invest in the defence. And David Luiz's form with Chelsea under Sarri wasn't exactly under a lot of complimentary. There was a lot of criticism, to say the very least. He falls out of favour with Frank Lampard and joins Arsenal, and it's still a bit like Peter Cech all over again, really. When the players are a little bit too old, but they still want to get first team football, and they'll settle for playing in a formation of what Arsenal have to offer, which doesn't really look challenging on paper at all. Like it's almost basically a walk in the door for his reputation. You know, you need to sign some promising, better defenders, I would say. I'd say you're attacking. Maybe just the attacking really is like the only threatening part of Arsenal I really do worry about a lot. But, you know, sometimes for some teams, attacking is the best form of defence. So what am I to say?
And so sticking on that, when Klopp came in, his first thing, he didn't he's only just recently sorted his defence out in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
He first was literally sorting out the attack in his midfield. Then literally brought Van Dijk and Alisson in. And but yeah, it is. And the thing is, we've been saying for years we need a centre back or two centre backs or this or that in the back line, and they never touch it. But I think what's promising is that we've got this left back now, and we try to get someone. I can't pronounce his name. We'll try butchering the name, but from Leipzig. But obviously, they're asking for a bit too much money. In financial fair play, we like to abide by the rules, unlike some other teams that are buying their titles. But apparently, they're looking into January, and they're basically saying we're going to be even more proactive in January. So I'm going to see what they do in January, but we do desperately need a top quality centre back that isn't incident prone like David Luiz, because I think David Luiz as well. If you look at the contract, it's like 2 years. So it's literally like Socrates. They're both stopgaps, but in the meantime, they've got to go and get someone in to blood them in and not just throw them in the deep end.
Yeah. I've been doing like quite a couple of previews this week, and it's actually only just struck to mind when you talk about transfers and you talk about, you know, owners buying a league title for their club. I just want to ask really, like, what's your whole opinion on the whole, you know, Stan Kroenke, Josh Kroenke, the manager? Because I've been hearing all sorts of opinions. Some even want the manager out already.
Yeah, I think it was Claude that I know of.
Well, I can't mention names that you mentioned, but yeah.
No, because you won't mind me saying, because I do know him away from AFTV and all that. We do chat and all that. So, yeah, he has said that, but I can understand why he's saying that, because at the moment he's just come out from a match and he's just straight up, we haven't got a result.
Yeah.
But personally, I don't see. I can understand what he's saying, but at the same time, what Emmy walked into from the previous regime. Especially last season, he was only able to buy in 5 players and then loan someone in back in January because he just fucked everything up before he disappeared to destroy AC Milan. So with what he had to do with, and considering we had key injuries in our key areas last season, it was just frustrating to see us fall apart at the last hurdle, because literally we were 1 point off themselves, 2 off Chelsea, 1 win out of them, 3 defeats we had, and even against yourselves, a game that we had a penalty, even though I don't think it was a penalty, but it was given, whatever. That goes in, or the rebound goes in. We're sitting in now saying you're the Europa League team and we're the Champions League team, and you're fighting to get back in.
Yeah, all Aubameyang had to do was slot that. If the results stayed how they were, but the North London derby, and Aubameyang put that ball in the net, you would be in Champions League right now.
Yeah. We would not have had to rely on the Europa League final like we had done. Stan Kroenke, to this day, I can't stand him. I think he's poison. The fact of when he wasn't full owner, but he was a majority owner. He'd turn up to AGMs and things like that. Fans would be asking him questions, and he would sit there and refuse to answer them. And literally, he'll go off to a certain paper or whatever, put an article in there, but for you to read that, you'd have to pay to read that. But he literally, it was like, I think the first season he finished above us a couple of years back, in that season, he literally took 300 million pounds out of the club. That's what that club did to invest into his ranch over in the States.
Oh no, I do remember reading about that. Yeah,
and then about a year later, then there was the incident with the animal hunting, and one of his channels that he promotes is animal hunting, and had all that. But it was with all that, and then the fact you're refusing to answer questions face to face, but you're putting out statements when there's no one there, so they can't come back at you straight away.
You might as well call yourself North Korea FC. I mean, there's so much. There's like a complete totalitarian. There's a complete like elite. I can't even pronounce the word, but it's just basically like a complete isolated.
I know what you're saying,
and like the fans are the ones that suffer the most when. I mean, I've seen all sorts of rants about him on AFTV. I do know a few of the AFTV members as well, and they tell me like the same things again. It just sounds like Arsenal's just like something put to the side, and he's just focusing more on this NBA team, I think called the Rams or something like that.
Was now the LA Rams that you took him from? He initially had him at St. Louis, but because the St. Louis fans revolted against him, he thought, F you, literally took their club from St. Louis and placed it in LA. So now St. Louis ain't got a team.
Yeah, wow.
And things like that.
I mean, we also have a few issues with we definitely had it a lot last season when we didn't make any signings, and we were like really pissed off with Levy, Allen.
I got that question as well.
Yeah,
a few fans I spoke to at the time.
Yeah, and it was really worrying because Poch just wasn't being financially backed. He still managed to get us a top four and even to a Champions League final, which that alone, putting rivalries aside, that is just incredible to be able to do that and put up with the squad that you've got. And we were hoping after the Champions League final, we'd be like backed a lot more financially. And yeah, we did. We've signed some players. One of them I'm very impressed with, which is Ndombele. I think he's already confident despite playing in the French league. He's already showing some leadership in the middle as a CDM midfielder. But that's just about it. The other signings I'm just not 100% sure about. And is it enough to even try and compete in winning a domestic trophy? I don't know. It's just one of those things really where, had we signed Dybala, that would have completely revolutionized and changed us as a club. We'd be that club that is capable of signing a top.
Attracting big players.
Yeah. It would have been like signing Rafael van der Vaart all over again, basically.
Well, basically, and do you think with everything that's going off behind the scenes, and obviously, how long have you been at the club now, Poch?
He's been there since the 2014-15 season.
Oh, right.
So, that's a long time for a third manager.
Yeah. Do you think also with all that, the pressure this season is in his head, he feels he has to win something with you, especially after getting so close to the Champions League last season?
You have to look at it in perspective, because if you were to tell me 6 or 7 years ago Spurs are going to be a consistent top four side, then I'd just laugh at your face. So the fact that he's actually got us there, and we might be playing like an Arsenal of 2008 till you won the FA Cup in 2014, I think. That period. 14, we might have been. We've been upgraded to that, which you can call it small club mentality if you want to, but the fact of the matter is that Tottenham 6 or 7 years ago were ridiculed to even think that they could reach that level. So that's one step up. Exactly. The second step is obviously winning a domestic trophy. To get to the Champions League final and beating Man City and Ajax and Dortmund in the knockout stages is debatably a next step, because it does show that we can actually show up for these big tournaments, even if VAR does come to our side sometime.
Just a tad. Against the same team as well.
Nothing more than that. Then that's another step. I feel like this year, we've reached all these steps, but winning a trophy, and there's just one more step now, and that's literally. I mean, it's not a be all end all, but we got to win something to put a credibility into Poch's name. I still think Poch does deserve a lot of credibility, because he's put Tottenham from that have always been branded as the slums of North London to up there. He's had seasons before where he's competed for the title before. There's no denial in that. With the season that Leicester won it, and then the season after when Chelsea. 16. Yeah. So it's. I think maybe in the sense we have overachieved, but at the same time, you're talking about a club that was in so much turmoil just in football. We're like Burnley from. We used to be how Burnley are right now, basically. and to be there in the top four is a massive upgrade. But I want to see Pochettino lift a cup. I want to see us just win a cup. And it's not even in the sense to shut up those people like your fans and Chelsea fans and, well, even West Ham fans, because they pipe up at us to try and stay relevant in the league. But and it's true. But it's a way to have our personal achievements to reach them, because every fan wants to see their team win a cup.
But it's also get that monkey off your back, and then, as you said, you can then move on and progress.
Even if it's a Carabao Cup, I think.
Yeah, it's something to push on with.
It'll give. It might be a Mickey Mouse Cup, but it's end of the day, it's a respected cup. If you finish outside of top four, you get Europa with that cup. You also get a decent financial sum that comes along with it. And to win one cup would want to make the players win more. So it's we're just waiting. I remember being at Wembley and seeing Tottenham lift that Carabao Cup under Juan de Ramos, and seeing Jonathan Woodgate shithouse that second goal very last minute. No, not last minute. Sorry, it was in extra time. I think in the second.
I think it was literally beginning of extra time. I think it was literally.
Yeah.
It says shit.
Then I remember because Chelsea had the last shot and it hit the post. Yeah. So I remember that day very well. I mean, I was quite young, but I still remember it, and I want to see us lift that again. It's nice to see it as a fan.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, when you look back to Man United under Ferguson, we went for that dry spell. He couldn't win anything, and he used the League Cup as a stepping stone to push on and get his players behind him and push on to challenge for titles, European, domestic, you name it. And he pretty much won everything from now on in. Look, we discussed this off there. Are you slightly concerned going into this derby tomorrow with the form that you're going in with? Yeah,
absolutely. I'm definitely concerned about it, because for the one reason, form does go out the window. It always does. But form goes out the window in North London derby days. It always does. You've seen it with your team. I've seen it with my team. It happens to both teams. And then at that point, tactics just becomes irrelevant. It's all about who wants it more. And with the way I've seen it with Newcastle, it's not. I'm hoping, with that result, it could be a huge kick up the backside to maybe motivate us to get 3 points out of this game, or maybe even a point, because just to avoid losing to Arsenal and having to deal with having it rubbed in our faces. The thing I'm mainly concerned about is definitely our right back situation, because I think Kyle Walker-Peters is out. So, to be honest, I wouldn't want to see Kyle Walker-Peters try and go up against Pepe. I'd like to see Sissoko, a fellow Frenchman and a very tough one as well, may I add, fill out that right back slot, because apparently he can play as a right back, and maybe that would lift the pressure off a little bit to stop the wingers from trying to cut in and make those crosses or get into the box. You know what I mean? And
is Serge Aurier injured, or is he just not being dropped?
He's not injured, but I think he's on his way out. I think he's going AC Milan, if I'm not mistaken. He don't want to play for us anymore. And to be honest, he would be such a better right back if he didn't have such a pathetic temper, honestly, and giving away stupid penalties. And
I think that's what put Wenger off.
By the way, that's another thing to happen. You can't chuck a throw in if it saves his life.
I think that's what Wenger, because I think we were initially a couple of years before you signed him, we were linked to him. I think that's what put Wenger off going in for him in the end, because of his attitude, I would say.
Well, it just goes to show that Wenger did know a few things still, even when his expiry date was starting to run out a bit.
And even that, because I think did Aurier play Derby last season at the Emirates?
Yeah, he did. It was him and Ben Davis.
Because obviously he played under Emery, so Emery knew how to get under his skin, and obviously he must have. Things like that, if you know them sort of things as a manager of the rival team, you don't want to keep that play.
PSG under Unai Emery.
Yeah.
I remember he got into trouble for saying something homophobic about a manager, I think, on a live stream on Instagram. Maybe it was about Emery, I can't remember.
Probably. Won't surprise me, will, yeah.
Yeah. It's not, to be honest, he's not the most intelligent of people, or off the pitch, he misbehaves himself a lot. I know he assaulted a copper on a night out, and then there's another thing where and it's not really a matter at all, but he assaulted his missus and got arrested for it. So, with behaviour like that, unfortunately, and you not behaving similarly, but showing that you are a bit of a bad egg on the pitch, it doesn't really look good on you as a footballer, especially in this league.
What about? Because that's asking this over because the politics of Vertonghen falling out with the coach or some.
I've heard all sorts of rumours. I've heard apparently him and Kane got into a punch up, and that's why he had a black eye. Even though I looked at the photo myself, and that black eye doesn't look like from a punch. It looks like he banged it on the floor or something, or got kicked accidentally in training. Training is actually. I've seen conference training before in conference league teams, and even training there is very aggressive. Like they do take it seriously. So injuries like that is easy, and you can easily get a black eye from that. So I think that's just once again the journalists chatting. Look, this isn't like I said. I think I said this in the start of the video, but this is not the first time that
media.
Yeah, no, not even that. The first time players fall out of favour. We saw it with Toby Alderweireld 2 seasons ago, and he got injured after our Champions League game with Real Madrid, and even when he recovered, it was very hard for him to get back into the team. And I thought that was it. He's gone, but somehow he's still here. These things happen. Football is Football can be a stressful game for not just fans, but for footballers as well. And sometimes you might see the bad of people, and people need to get taught a lesson, but. For this game, I think egos and like principles need to be put aside, and you just got to start Vertonghen, because Vertonghen loves this club, and I know he would show so much passion to be playing in this game. So I would prefer to see Vertonghen start over Sanchez.
Do you, just staying on Alderweireld as well? Do you think your club has played it badly in the sense of making it public in the sense of renewing his contract the way they did it back in January to try and get some money out of him, to avoid losing him, and then certain clubs, apart from Roma, it seems, everyone else is sort of sitting back waiting for this January to come along now to get free.
I think it's a miracle how nobody really came for Alderweireld, to be honest. Like, I know there was rumours with Roma, but I don't think they made an official bid for it. No. The credit goes to Toby Alderweireld mainly because he's not getting paid what he should be getting paid, and he still works his ass off for the team. And I think we're just lucky a guy like Toby Alderweireld shows a lot of maturity and ignores the wage and just does what he's paid to do, even if he's not paid enough. I've heard that we are re-entering negotiations for him to sign a new contract, but that's all I've heard of, and I can't really say any more on that.
Okay, so basically, if Jefferson Sanchez starts in that game tomorrow, as you said, are you very concerned then?
Very concerned. I've got no choice. It's not my doing. I don't do the starting 11. I don't tell what these players need to do in the changing room. If he starts, he starts. I'm still going to support him and get behind him. Yeah, I know.
Of course.
I know I'll probably come across as really negative and saying, "Oh, this guy can't start ever again." And yeah, I know I did say that, but that's just my opinion. Pochettino sees better in him in the training. So if he starts, then he starts, and I've got nothing to do but go with what Pochettino says and do it. And I know, like, especially in AFTV, when there's criticism towards the manager and that, end of the day, we don't have a say on it. So there's just literally no point in even trying to protest it over a starting 11 until after the game. Like, before, there's just no point in doing it at all. Once the decision is made, the decision is made. And then after, I'm sure the managers of all clubs can take an approach to it and make a judgment and take players off, and that's always going to either please or disappoint fans. No one wins in these situations either way, unless you're Man City or Liverpool, basically.
Yeah, that's true. Because especially Man City, as I said, they just throw money at the problem. So
yeah, I mean they're benching out a starting 11. I still don't get how Man City got away with what a slap on the wrist, basically. Oh God, yeah.
When Chelsea get a ban for the same thing and a fine, they just get a fine and a slap on the wrist. Don't do it again.
Yeah, To be honest, I don't really hate Man City that much, other than when we play them. Like I used to like Man City even before they were bought by the Saudis or whoever bought them.
What they are, yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, Chelsea to me has just always been like I've always liked Chelsea so much that I'm actually going to say this live, but in terms of fans, Arsenal fans don't even make it first in my list of the fans I hate the most. I genuinely hate Chelsea a lot more because I just can't stand them as a fan base. I can't really stand how a lot of them weren't even there about before Roman came along and bought their club. And I know loads are going to deny it, but it's true. There was no reason to support Chelsea until you start winning titles. I had no choice as a child. Like, as soon as I was born, my dad stuck me in Tottenham pyjamas. When I was in primary school, Arsenal had their Invincibles, and it got to the point where all my friends were supporting Arsenal, and I was watching Arsenal in their house. I was watching Arsenal there, and yeah, I remember when I was like 7 or 8, and I just tell my dad, why don't we support Arsenal? Everyone in my class supports Arsenal. Slammed the emergency brake, and what? Just like that. I had no choice. My dad brought me up like this. Whereas in Chelsea, they had a choice. Just walk in, you glory hunt. And you're starting to see the same with City as well. And to be honest, I'm starting to see a few fans just randomly come in. To be honest, I'm not going to judge it, to be honest. Maybe I'm being biased as a Tottenham fan, but if someone wants to support Tottenham, then fair enough. But I have noticed an increasement of Tottenham fans, just like all of a sudden supporting Tottenham because they like Pochettino and they like the way they play, something like that. Which again, like I said before, years ago, no one would support Tottenham just like that because we were in a club in the slums of North London. But now it's like we are actually having a soft spot for a lot of people.
Yeah, touched on and Dom. I've got your new son. Yeah, he's obviously. You've mentioned there's a possibility he might not play tomorrow because he's got reports of him being injured. We're all saying he's not and he's fine. This, that, and the other. If he doesn't play tomorrow, who do you have in your midfield?
Well, it's definitely not going to be Eric Dyer.
You don't rate him either, do you?
What's that?
You don't rate him either, then?
He just hasn't. Well, I used to rate him, to be fair, but I think injuries and illnesses have hit him a lot. It's caused him to go downhill a bit, a lot. And for these types of games, we can't have players that are prone to making mistakes. And the last North London derby, Dyer made a mistake, which was a build-up to the second or third goal. Yeah, I know that whole shush thing as well. Yeah.
Was it getting involved around you? Get back on the bench. Came off. Got 3 assists against you whilst turning Dyer inside out in fourth goal.
Yeah. I think it would probably be Winks and Sissoko, even if the midfield partnership's not the best. Maybe if Ali's back, maybe include him in the midfield. And so maybe have like 3 instead of 2 partnering up. And then Eriksen as a cam in front. I really don't know, to be honest. I don't have the answers to that. Yeah, sorry.
So I was going to touch on that Eriksen because obviously this season, first 3 games we've had, he has Villa didn't start. Man City did, and then last week he was dropped again. What's the issue with that? Surely he's not going anywhere.
With Villa, he didn't start. He came on the bench, and he was a contribution to us going 3-1 up. Which, weirdly enough, that all stemmed from the corner he finally did that beat the first man.
The irony.
Yeah. City, he started, and he just wasn't great at all, to be honest. Like, he didn't look like his head was in the game, so that was as a result of him getting dropped. It's very weird because when you hear Eriksen talk in interviews, he doesn't sound like the sort to have a bad attitude or be malicious about things, saying like, "Oh, I'm not going to try my hardest." I think it's mainly his agent doing the talking, because his agent obviously is going to get money out of it if Eriksen secures a big move to clubs like Real Madrid, who turned him down. You hear him in interviews as well, and sometimes he just sounds like a robot with no personality. So I think he's just genuinely a very passive guy who might have a bit of passive aggression on the pitch, but doesn't really show it that much. He needs to what you've been complaining about with Özil, with just showing up to games. We're now basically that with Eriksen. Eriksen is our creative player, and we do rely so much on his creativity. I got a lot of stick for this, even though I wasn't even saying anything bad about Kane. But all I said was I see Kane a lot more as a world-class goal scorer than a world-class lone striker, which isn't even polishing Kane at all. I'm still rating Kane. I still think he's up there among the best in quality, but he needs a team around him to work. He isn't a lone striker who can out dribble an entire defense. I mean, we've seen it a couple of times, but not that often. We need movement, we need support, we need creativity. Eriksen provides that, and I do see it a lot if Eriksen isn't providing that creativity to move the ball, and whether it's to play it down the centre or get it to some wingers or attacking mids or other attacking mids rather, then depending on the formation we play, then Kane isn't going to get the support or the service. And as a result of it, I've been seeing Eriksen's lack of attitude to play causing a big toll on the team. We're not like what we used to be with Gareth Bell, like a one-man team. We do have some good players in our team that can make a very good network on the pitch in terms of style of play. But when players decide not to play, it does still affect this entire starting 11. And it creates more work for the defence, or it creates more work for the list goes on. So we just ideally, if Eriksen does start tomorrow, then he needs to show up for this game.
Unlike last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was because I went into that derby nervous as hell, hoping for the best. Really, to be honest, I believe we would win, but I thought it'd be close. I thought it'd be a lot closer than what it was. And when you went 2-1 up, I think, oh, here we go, because we literally went 1-0 up, and then obviously Dyer did what he did, and that was kicked off. And then Son went down, and then he got the pen, and Kane, obviously, Kane being Kane, that has to score against Arsenal, which he probably will do tomorrow. So I'm then at half-time thinking the worst, but we can do this, we can get something out of this. But it's like, the second we got the equaliser, the players on our side, their head sort of drops. And then obviously with Lacazette's goal, which nipped off.
From Boyce, I think it was.
I think it was Dyer nipped off his.
Or maybe it was the fourth goal, actually. No, the third goal, sorry. It was the third goal that Boyce made a mistake.
Yeah, and then obviously Dyer got turned inside out for the fourth. But it's like, so we got that equaliser. The momentum swung so far in our way that your player their heads dropped and they couldn't cope with what we were doing going forward.
Yeah, I was actually very surprised we even got 2 goals in that game, because I thought we were lucky to get. I'm saying it how it is.
Especially how we start, because to be honest, we started like the team with the
you started with
the meet between our teams, the team that wanted it more, the team that knew what this derby meant to the fans.
Yeah, I'd definitely say last season you've had it quite good to individually to be playing against us, but I am going to have to say this. And honestly, I've actually really enjoyed talking to you, by the way, as another Arsenal fan. I don't really say this every day because this has actually been a bit too civilised for a North London derby. I do think
some of us are okay.
Yeah, no. I know some of you are okay. There was another preview I did the other day, and I thought the opposite. But
yeah, I've seen that. I think I know who you're on about. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, do drop too much. Consequently, like you think, not you specifically. I'm saying like you as a team and as fans think, it's over. We've done this. We're going to finish above Spurs. This, that, the other. When you fail to realise you've got to play other games, and do you think lessons will ever be learned, or do you think it could be? Do you think there's a gut feeling that it could be the same old, where such a good start, hypothetically beats Spurs?
Hypothetically speaking, if this is a question under the old under Gazidis and Wenger, then I'd no. We'd have the same thing again. Literally, we're gonna do it. We've beaten you now, so we're gonna finish above you, and then literally fall apart. Whereas I think under the regime of Emi as head coach, and you've got Raul, Vinay, Edu, and then Josh, who's been very hands-on this season, this summer as well, since he's been taken over fully. And from what he said as well in one of his interviews, he said, players have been told now, this is where we're going. If you can't hack it, you know where the door is. And all of a sudden we're seeing the likes of Awobi being sold, Monreal, Jenkins has eventually been shown the door to Nottingham Forest, but we're getting out the fucking door now. He's coming back again, then the cup.
Yeah.
But I think under this regime, I think lessons will be learned because there's consequences. There's consequences now.
Yeah.
Players, because no coincidence that James Rowe, who I have on here regularly, he's joined us a couple of weeks ago. He said because she only had an opportunity to move to Marseille a couple of years back, but refused to go. And all of a sudden, that was under Wenger. And all of a sudden, after a year with Emery, he wants to be out the door all of a sudden.
Oh God, yeah, I remember.
Anywhere and everywhere he wanted to go.
Yeah.
And then he wanted us to cancel, can't do this, that, and the other. Like, no, this is how we're going to do it. But he wanted to throw his toys at his plan. So it's no coincidence that when things aren't comfortable, the comfortable players are now leaving. So it's like using them as the example of they've been here for years and they've gone. So you're not safe at all. I think and it's using Kolasinac and Ozil. Obviously, they were both involved in the incident a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
it's no coincidence that Ozil still hasn't been in the squad at all, but Kolasinac has been brought back in the last couple of games.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. There was that whole incident with Kolasinac and Ozil.
Kolasinac and Ozil. Yeah.
I'm not going to name the area on camera, but it actually happened in my area, and I recognised the road. That whole incident. Yeah, and my area isn't even like it's a bit. I mean, I know with London we are facing a lot of violence at the moment, but we in this part of London, of northwest London, we don't normally see it even in daylight. Alone is shocking. So I was actually shocked to see that actually happened in my own turf. Basically.
And you said it's in broad daylight as well.
Yeah.
And then Kolasinac, even though brave as he was, and probably as used to it as he was because of where he's been brought up from.
Yeah,
they
are tough.
Imagine I take from that as well, because obviously, as you just touched on, it's not a one-off thing. It's a growing thing in London in general.
Yeah.
It's not just knife attacks or guns attacks, but people have acid on them as well.
Yeah.
Imagine if they had something else on them just as a backup like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really even a laughing matter. Like I saw,
no.
I saw people laughing about it, and I've taken this out of things before. I'm definitely not an angel, that's for sure. But when I saw that, I was like, I think what made it shocking was the fact that it happened in my area, but also how tough these footballers actually are. Because I've got mates who are rugby fans, and they say our footballers are like massive pussies. All they do is have handbags. But when the way he defended Ozil like that was like, that sort of defeats the argument a little bit.
Yeah, what I took quite as offence was one of my own fans within the fan base, who claims to be a fan anyway. Amongst other idiotic things he does, mate was quite happy to make jokes out of it.
Yeah,
and I was just like, no, and I was calling him out. He wouldn't respond to me, but anyone else was calling him out, he was just blocked straight away.
Yeah,
and then this is a guy that goes to a kit launch protest and buys a new kit.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're on about. And puts on a Texas accent on a Brazilian player. Honestly, I can't. We're not going to mention names here, obviously. I'm not
giving them airtime.
Yeah,
I don't like the person. I'm not giving them airtime. So
I've noticed it with a lot of Arsenal fans. Like, there is a bit of divide, but I'm definitely not saying it's with you the case at all, because I completely respect that. That's why I chose or agreed to speak with you, because whatever team you support and you have a platform that you're trying to grow, you know, I have that level of respect for a fellow content creator. As a YouTuber myself who creates content like you do as well. But there's just some who like completely abuse it so much they try and like become a celebrity by just chasing clout, which is why the other day I was just not getting involved on Twitter with like, because I had my mates screenshotting me tweets and that saying I'm so looking forward to watching this video, this, that, the other, and I'm just not responding to it because I built my channel, I built my content. Well, I built my channel from content, so I don't really need to get involved with clout unless, you know, a harmless bit of it. But yeah, and then I was actually a bit too anxious to watch the video because I couldn't even remember what I said, and I was like, I'm not watching this. I've probably been mugged off with the editing. They've shithoused me, this, that, the other. But then my mates actually were like messaging me saying, mate, why don't you want to watch the video? This is class. And I actually watched it, and I was actually pretty proud of myself that I was the only Spurs fan in that preview, and I still managed to stand my ground. So I thought I was quite all right. I might do that again now sometime.
Well, and like I said, another fan from the other side was very arrogant in his way of speaking and how he came across.
Yeah.
Because even when we were going through our glory years as Arsenal fans, I've never been one of we have that divine right to win every game.
No, you
must win every game.
Like, no, there's. I think people are taking it so much out of context, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity if anyone's watching to just. No,
I'm just saying because obviously you came back and said, yeah. Of course, we are a big club. No big club has a divine right.
No, nobody has a divine right to win games. You're not entitled to 3 points. You're not entitled to wins. You're not entitled to points, this, that, the other. And, you know, I was just literally just pointing out that, I mean, to be fair, it all started off when that fella said it. And then I just felt like I had to say something back, like just, you know, to back up my point. And then the whole Aldi Cup chuck to me just instantly proved my point about Arsenal fans. Well, not all, obviously, but living in Arsenal fans rent free. But no, teams do not have a divine right to win. You've got every right to be frustrated that you've lost the game and you think you could have done better. But don't say we should have won this or we should be winning these games, because quite frankly, you didn't win the game. So there's no point trying to refer back to hindsight, because what's done is done. And it's not a defeatist approach either, because you can go on about it and say what needs to be done in the future. And if it isn't done, then start over again, like a cycle. So, you know, no club has a divine right to win games. It just doesn't exist. Not even Celtic win every single game, despite they're the elite Scottish club. You get them; they've been beaten before, and they've had their undefeated run ended by I can't even remember who, but it was a very it was Hearts. It was a very tiny Scottish side. So and you know, Sutton United beat Leeds United, and most of those teams are like literally most of those players in the team are like electricians and plumbers, and they beat some professional footballers. So you know, it doesn't always have to be on paper you win this game. Just like how Newcastle beat us, because we were meant to win that game on paper, but we didn't, because we literally did some schoolboy defending, and it really infuriated me a lot. But just is what it is.
I think he's also doing what Arsenal under the old regime used to do. Like a couple of years ago, we had Monaco in the Champions League. Oh, the days of Champions League football, not Europa League. Oh, I miss them days. But we had Monaco in the first knockout round. So players themselves literally thought, because it's Monaco, as soon as they walked on the pitch, they'd won the game. And obviously, we know what happened. We got battered 3-1, and then got knocked out in the away goal rule. Yeah, because we took the opponent lightly. And sometimes, not just yourselves, other clubs as well do that. And it is what it is. But the only team that hasn't done that so far is Man City. That's because the manager doesn't allow it. So
yeah. Can I just ask a random question? It's a bit off topic. Well, it's not really off topic. It's about Arsenal, but it's just not on topic. But like, can you still visualize or picture your view at Highbury Stadium? And if so, are you able to like give an accurate comparison of where you were sitting / standing in Highbury and where you are now in the Emirates? Like, can you compare it?
Oh, Highbury was better. I prefer high. The reason I prefer high because it's with the Emirates, as you know. I'm assuming will be there tomorrow as well.
No, I'm not going tomorrow, sadly. But
was you there last week? Have you been
no,
there?
it's hard to get tickets to these games. I've only been to one, and that was when my family friend had a box basically, and I asked my dad and me, "Do you want to go to it?" And it was when we drew 1-1 with Kane's penalty. So we were sitting with Arsenal fans. We had to keep our trap shut. But yeah,
as you see, even with White Hart Lane, before you redeveloped it, you were really set on the pitch.
Yeah.
And you've sort of kept that with what you're doing now, whereas with Arsenal, for some bizarre reason, whereas as you've seen when you were probably there a few years ago, we are quite far away from the pitch, where at Highbury you're on top of everything, and so the players can feed off it a lot, feed off the atmosphere a lot more. And the atmosphere at Highbury was a lot better as well.
I can imagine. So yeah,
and the only time we've had decent atmosphere at the Emirates and what now we're 2019. We moved in 2006. Was the best one was Tottenham last year.
Yeah,
and before that, a couple of years ago against Chelsea, and the year before that against United. It's bad when you can only name three games at the top of your head that are where you've had top atmospheres, where the roof could have come off several times. But the best one was last year. The place was absolutely rocking for obvious reasons, being the derby and this, that, and the other. But there is the club are working with a group of lads that I'm in the group chat with this season to try and improve the atmosphere, doing the clock end lower tier, and literally it's working with them and building up from that.
You see,
for years and years and years, literally it's been like, as you know, as the saying goes, Highbury Library. It's literally been.
Yeah, you see,
because they hire stewards, and the stewards are then instructed apparently to keep everyone sat down, shut up, and watch the game. Can't do it.
See, what Tottenham did was when we designed the stadium, it was literally like the best initiative to use. We looked at your mistakes with your stadium. We looked at West Ham's mistake with their stadiums. We looked at other stadiums as well who, got that stadium but can't quite get an atmosphere. And we designed it. We designed the stadium with this special material of wool where it is basically so easy to create an atmosphere because it echoes around the stadium and it traps inside the stadium as well. So we just basically used the same mistakes of what you went through and what West Ham went through and designed that. Unfortunately, however, from my experience for the first 2 games that I've been to this season, which have both been home games, the atmosphere was great, but that was because the away end was loud. So that's when we were 1-0 down to Aston Villa, they were like rocking that first half. But then when we started to show up a bit, the atmosphere went up. But with Newcastle, I thought the atmosphere genuinely was just not there.
It did feel flat from what I was watching last week as well. Like he was playing at the Emirates basically. Let's be honest. I'm going to be brutally honest. It was like at the Emirates. That's so flat. It came across so flat, and none of the fans were going for it. And that's whereas at Highbury, you've never had that complaint.
Apparently it's the reason why those atmospheres are so quiet is because of people like me. Apparently we're all vloggers, basically.
One person with a camera can silence over 60,000 people, apparently.
Yeah, I don't get how it makes such a huge difference because a camera is generally not rocket science. You press a few buttons, it films, and it doesn't even take 2 seconds of your time off. And you can, if I wanted to, I could do that whilst I was still basically chanting. And that's literally all I'm doing. Like, you take the camera away from me, I'm still the same person. I'm just holding a camera in my hand, and how I do it is actually because I can understand people's frustration if there's like a camera in the air like that and people can see it.
Blocking their view and all,
blocking their view, or they just don't want to be on camera. So I just like put it like just about under my chin on a certain angle. So it's like not like this angle, but like more like I do it like that. So and it's bothering anyone. I've not had one person even get bothered by it. And in fact, when I was at an away day in Cardiff, someone literally at full time said to me, "Do you want to know something? I didn't notice you vlog once until you were putting your camera away at full time." So all this like argument about bloggers in football is just a bit. It's more of an agenda to like pick a fight or bone with, because it's just like an idea which is fair enough you don't agree with, and you just want to like make a bigger meal out of it on Twitter and all sorts of that. But yeah, it's basically that.
Obviously, 50-odd minutes in now, and what was it? What time was it? We both want to catch Chelsea. We both want to watch match today. Watch Chelsea bottle 2-0 lead. Bottle 2-0 lead against Sheffield United.
Yeah,
the media's favourites to go down apparently. And that Chelsea. Oh, they're the champions. Oh, yeah, fuck off. Chelsea are not getting top 6. I'm saying it now. They're not getting nowhere near top. They'll be lucky to get top 10.
Yeah, I'm playing to that as well. To be honest, Frank Lampard just doesn't quite have the. He won't get sacked because it's a transfer window and transfer ban, and you can't really like blame him for it. Even though I don't rate him as a manager, because I still think he is a bit of a championship manager, considering he couldn't even get Derby up. Which, by the way, I was at Brentford Derby today because my mates are Brentford, and Derby have literally fallen apart like that with Lampard.
And the thing is, they've got a better. I believe they've upgraded. When it all happened at the time, I thought they upgraded from Lampard and Philip Kaku, because Kaku's got European experience. He's won the title with PSV and it's that and the other.
Yeah.
But it just seems like. But again, it's championship players as well, though. It's not like.
Yeah. No, they made players look good enough to play Premier League. A few of them are actually good enough to play for a Premier League side. A few of them. But yeah, what time does match of the day start? Like 10?
I think it's like 10:30 or something like that. 20 past. I'll double check now. But what's I saying?
Should we just do a video with a score prediction?
I'm going to do score prediction in a sec, but obviously I want to get your thoughts on Daniel Levy as a personal thing and how it divided fan base.
Yeah, it's mixed reviews, obviously. I've never really been a huge fan of Daniel Levy, to be honest, but I thought this transfer window he was doing. It's not his fault, to be honest, that he couldn't sign Dybala. It's this whole pathetic image, right? Because apparently he owns this or something like that. That celebration, Dybala. It's silly, really. But I thought, Daniel Levy had delivered a few goods to sign us some players. Like he did sign us a very good, promising player in Ndombele, which was not the best, but one of the best signings of the season, I'd say. Like so many clubs were like on that comment section saying Tottenham should be delighted that they've signed a player with that quality. I mean, I know he only played against Man City in the Champions League, but he's only 21 or 22. He's got capabilities with that powerhouse of a shot he has, and having a partnership with Sissoko to succeed. Levy's done something. We got to wait, and time will tell if those players were good enough to be signing. It's too early to like throw your toys off the pushchair. Whatever the phrase is. I know I've said it wrong. It's too early for that.
Throw your toys at the pram, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. It's too early for that, and I've given Daniel Levy a lot of stick, but I want to give him a bit of a chance this season. So hopefully we can. I'll be honest, not to sound like not to rub it in, but I guess we should be lucky. It's not quite the levels of Josh Kroenke, Stan Kroenke at Arsenal. It's not quite those levels, but we don't exactly have the easiest of chairmans either. Although,
it does come across a bit of egotistical. You know what? I
didn't mean it like that. But I'm saying
no. From what I've witnessed away when he does these odd interviews here and there, he comes across like he's self-indulged, living his own little world.
Oh, Levy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he is. He's a very quiet. He's actually. I'm not very tall, but I've met people who've met him, and they say that you'd look like a giant next to him. He's a tiny little cunning man who just is very quiet but sneaky and sly, and just has his own mysterious ways of either doing something for this club or shithousing us, basically. I do want to give Levy a chance this season because he's delivered some goods, and he's finally after sacking so many managers, he has found us the best manager available for us, and a manager who is showing love for this club. So, got to give it some chance. I mean, I don't really believe in this whole I do a little bit. I did a little bit. Like this whole hate Levy, love Poch. But now that we've matched, I was definitely thinking that when we didn't sign any players, that was for sure. But now Just give it a bit of chance. Let's not sway into negativity and get divided about all of it. That's my opinion on it, basically.
That's fair enough. And as you said, at least he's back in the manager. Was you concerned with the report, even though it's media, just so we could do score predictions as well? Was you concerned with, you heard of reports, again, it's media being media, just probably making a story, but Poch, no matter what happens tomorrow, there's reports that he's going to be walking out the door this international break, apparently. Would you be surprised? Apparently, there was reports going around.
Yeah.
That Poch, no matter what happens tomorrow, would be leaving the club during the international break. Would you be surprised if that happened? Considering everything that's going on in the club.
I know Pochettino.
He did address it slightly.
He addressed it in a very humorous way to just sort of make fun of the journalists, because he doesn't. He is genuinely like a pleasant guy to interview. He's not like Mourinho or Pep Guardiola, but he is hitting a short fuse, and I think he did sort of basically deny it with body language, because that's what he's doing nowadays. Because he's just showing that passive aggression towards journalists. By walk out the door, do you mean like he's just going to like walk away from Tottenham for a bit during international break and look at other players, or mean like leave the job full time?
Leave the job, apparently. That's why they asked the question.
No, I don't. No, I don't see that happening at all. I think, yeah, like you say, it's just journalists trying to like stir something up to make a story out of it, and yeah, these. Right, Alex. That's my mate who's an Ipswich vlogger.
Yeah, I know who he is as well. So
yeah. No, I don't think there's anything to worry about there. Pochettino has been. It's a new season, it's a new stadium. I think it'd be a bit silly for Pochettino to just walk out like that when he's got arguably one final chance to do something right, and he does have the tools to do it. So no, I don't see that happening.
After you just touch on, before we keep dragging this out, you just touched on one final chance. If worst thing happens, and obviously end of the season he decides enough's enough, he wants a new job somewhere else. Is there someone in mind that you'd think would be the perfect replacement for him to take him to the next level?
No, not really. I genuinely think that if Poch walks out that door, it would all fall apart. Like
really.
Tim Sherwood walked in, and everything was falling apart even worse. Although I don't blame him, I blame the prick before him more. I genuinely hate
AVB.
Yeah, AVB. Andre Villas-Boas. Yeah, get rid of Van der Vaart. Chelsea, yeah, exactly. Chelsea reject for a reason. Yeah, if Poch walks, because Poch created this system which I don't think any other manager would understand, and it would have to take a manager close to the level of Poch, which there's hardly any, in my opinion. Like, it's very difficult to find it, especially if there's one who's doing well in a foreign league, but then has to go to the Premier League. That's just another factor when you're like playing with a completely different style. It would have to take a Pep Guardiola level, or slightly under, in my opinion, to keep the ship going. I genuinely think it would fall apart, which is why I don't want to see Poch out that door.
Would it be a Levy move to go back for Redknapp? Would it be a Levy thing to do? After all this progress,
I wouldn't see that happening. But
after all this progress, he goes and throws it away by doing something.
Yeah, I think Levy progressed a little bit more to not do that Levy thing of 2010. Like, if we got rid of AVB, I would have loved to have had Harry Redknapp back. Like, at the time, there's no Pochettino would be able to do all of this. It's difficult. I don't want to think about it, but I do think it would fall. Everything at Tottenham would fall apart, and players would leave.
Okay. Score predictions then. Let's crack on with that, because we've got 29 minutes for the match of the day. So score prediction.
Okay. Score prediction. I'm going for 1-1. I'm the most optimistic. I think, when odds are against us, I think we can actually draw this. And I've seen it before. I was there myself at the Emirates when you were meant to beat us, despite us missing players. So I'm going for 1-1. What about you?
if Emery gets not only tactics right, but gets the lineup right, and that means no Xhaka for a start.
And starting all your players.
It's not the start, it's literally just going for the best available squad. Like Leno in goal. Maitland-Niles has to play right back, so that's where he's got to play there. I'd play Chambers and Socrates as my centre back pairing. And then obviously we have to play Kolasinac tomorrow because now Monreal's gone and Tierney's only just getting back from his injury that we bought him with.
Yeah.
And in the midfield three, I'd have Torreira, David Luiz, because he's played in the CDM role before, so he's got that experience.
Fair enough.
Does seem to play better in that role for some bizarre, even though he once played centre back, but he plays better there. So have him like in that CDM role, and then Torreira and Willock just in front of him as the link between him and the forwards.
Yeah.
And then obviously the front three of Pepe, Aubameyang on the wings, and Lacazette in the middle, and then just alternate every now and then. If he does something like that and gets the tactics spot on like he did last year, because that's another thing with Emery. Since he's come to the club, our form at home against the top six did improve last year. We drew. I think the only team to beat us was City on the opening day in the league. Obviously, cup competitions, you won one game, United won a game. But when it comes to the league itself, our form improved phenomenally. It was our away form against you guys that screwed us as well. But so if we go into tomorrow's game, straight the right line up and get the tactics spot on like you did last year, and the players are actually up for it again, like they were last year. And if you guys get your lineup spot on the way it needs to be, 3-1 Arsenal. Because I think Kane will score. It's Harry Kane. It's a game he's always going to score in. So,
fair enough. See what the result is.
I'll say 3-1. As I said, 3-1 Arsenal. But it wouldn't surprise me all this, because now this is an Arsenal thing as well, especially under the old regime, which is Emery's trying to rub out of them. When the pressure's on, certain players from the old regime, that mentality of they can't cope sort of creeps in, and they make mistakes that leads to errors, leads to goals, leads to defeats. So I'm saying I'm going to stick with 3-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if something happens that with one of the old Xhaka plays, you might as well just give you a point, because Xhaka's instant prone. We've seen one game last season, Liverpool played absolutely phenomenal, not an issue whatsoever. Next game, Wolves at home, literally stepped away from the ball and let them run through and pass and score a goal. And he does it constantly. I'm trying to think now, about a minute and a half into this season against Newcastle, edge of our box, casually just passing the ball and giving it away and just not bothering to get it back.
Well, we've got that problem with Kyle Walker-Peters, but I don't think he's going to be starting tomorrow. So either way, like you say, Tottenham get their formation right. I don't think there's a possibility of us getting our formation right. We have to stick with what we've got, and it's not going to be the right starting 11, but we don't start with normally.
I think as I said before, it depends on if we're up for it like we were last year, we'll win.
Yeah.
I can't agree with that. If you slightly turf at all, that might get in there, get under the skins, and might cause a bit of problems. But it's like, when was the last time you beat us in the league?
Back in the 2018 season at Wembley.
Oh no, it was Wembley 1-0, wasn't it? Yeah. So what was it?
It was a cross from Ben Davis and Kane headed it.
So 3 out of them 4 games, we've turned up on the day and wanted it more. Apart from that game itself, when at Wembley, and you beat us 1-0, Kane.
Yeah, you've individually.
Our players have turned up. Yeah. Yeah,
you've individually, like head to head between us on games alone, you have had it better than us. I will give you that. But again, though, it's just about how you carry on from that point onwards, which it is, because your form isn't just defined by playing Tottenham. You got to play your other teams as well. It's the start of the season. It's too early for it London derby as well, to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
so I was saying because when the fixtures came out, I did a reaction on here as well about with James and a few others, and I think it was so weird to have a North London derby so early because like yourself, I'm so used to having the North London derby October, November, the first one, and then the corresponding one come near the end of the March, April time.
I think our one was very season, the second one. So it's going to be a bit of a it's going to be a bit of a weird one, but I'd say the end of the North London derby end of the season, if it gets so head to head between Tottenham and Arsenal, like very similar points and that, then
I'm saying
more anxious for both of us, for both you and me.
I'm saying 3-1 Arsenal. I've just remembered VAR might help you tomorrow as well.
I don't know. It didn't help us against Newcastle. I don't know how we didn't get that penalty, but I mean, he clearly wiped him out. Like, people are saying he fell into him and then Kane fell over, but he didn't. He fell into him and then used his hand to stop Kane's trap. Like, and he didn't give it. Like, VAR would work out so much better if they weren't fucking behind the TV screens.
The fact is, Mike Dean was a ref for a start, didn't give it, which is abnormal.
Can I just cut it out?
I think he proved that sort of last.
Yeah, last.
Did he referee both North London derbies last year?
Yeah, I think he did. He definitely did the one at the Emirates.
He did the Emirates. He proved that he wasn't, and then I think if I'm correct, he refereed the Wembley one, which was before you moved into White Hart Lane, or the new one.
Yeah, that's why you got the penalty. So yeah.
Yeah. As I said earlier, I didn't think it was a penalty, but it was given. But then again, we got done over because obviously encroachment, and obviously we've seen at the beginning of this first game of the season this year, encroachment into the penalty area. They got penalised, so it is what it is. It's as you said, no matter what happens tomorrow, neither team can define the season on just both North London derbies this season. It's all the other games, because literally twice last season you were reported as from the media like hyped up to be in a title race, and every time actually no, they're not. Then obviously Burnley came along. Harry Kane just came back. I think Kane came back from injury.
Yeah, that was Kane's first game from injury. Yeah,
they scored a goal, and then literally I think it was the last couple of minutes when Burnley scored, and then he got injured again. I don't know what you
first leg off.
Do you think Tottenham as a squad play better player-wise? They play better without Kane or with Kane? Because I personally, from what I saw from an Arsenal perspective, taking even the fact that it's Tottenham out of this equation, when Kane wasn't in the squad as a whole, the squad had played a lot better and a lot more freer and fluid without him. As soon as he came in, the tactics and everything changed to try and suit him.
I think it's not that the tactics try and suit him. It's the fact that he is our striker up top, and he has, even though he does partner up with Son now or Mora. I think that when Kane is gone, the players take an initiative where they think that their best player is they're without their best players, so they've got to work twice as hard. And I think it just creates like a hard working ethic when Kane is out. Listen, Kane's been unlucky with ankle injuries lately. He can get, all it takes is a clip to the ankle and he's out. It's very unfortunate. I think this year, we've seen games better without Kane, but Kane, you just got to give Kane a bit more time to prove himself with more stats of goals and trying to be up there for the Golden Boot. And maybe they would still need Kane, but we're just fortunate that we have players that can step up and replace Kane basically when he's not with us and in the sidelines. Basically that. Okay,
well, I'll go wrap up now because we've got now 19 minutes for the match. 18 minutes now for match of the day. I want to see Chelsea fuck up again. So I'm taking great pleasure in seeing Chelsea fuck up this year. So Thanks, Sam, for coming on. Hope I'll get you on again soon this season.
It's been very good talking to you. And I don't know this every day about Arsenal fans, so you should feel very honoured.
And vice versa. As I said at the beginning, so you're one of the good ones of your side of things.
I can misbehave, but if I see like someone who is very down to earth and easy going, then I will. I'm like a sponge. I will behave the same way as how someone will talk to me when it comes to football.
As we saw the other day on the other channel. Not saying names. not causing any sparks. I'll start getting DMs like, why this? Why are you saying this? Why are you saying that?
If Fon says anything, I'll back you up. Don't worry. They're not going to do anything.
Oh dear, it's just brilliant. I was just like, really, this is who we've got on to represent our fan base.
Yeah,
and he was so out there saying we have this divine right. I was like, no. Even when our glory is, we didn't have. I'd never had that attitude. So
I think for the good of your Arsenal fans, they were lucky to have me on instead of people like Expressions. So yeah, just Expressions is a very fiery. I like him a lot, and he's a very fiery guy, and he has that full of confidence. Me, I just say it how I am without getting too. Because I'm not like I'm not a fiery person. If I hear shit, then it's going to piss me off, and I will say something. Basically that. So yeah. Nice talking to you, Ryan. And I
appreciate you coming on.
I can't see that happening personally.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, and obviously in a corresponding fixture at your place, try and get you on again for either the preview or the review. So
thank you.
Obviously, if we win tomorrow, you won't be coming on Monday. So as you said,
well, win or lose, I'm busy on Monday anyway. So I got work. So probably
Won't be the best idea. Just getting bombarded by Arsenal fans.
Yeah, I'm going to stay off my social medias if
that happens. Is it if though? It's if.
So you're not like saying when it happens, if it happens. Everything is a bit.
Form goes as we said before. Form goes out the window when it comes to North London derbies. So yeah, and to the people that are coming across this later on and watching it, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and share. Help get this channel growing even quicker. Because as I said before, I want to catch up with a certain person who cheated his way to 700 odd people. I'm not going to go into it live now because otherwise I'm going to get into that debate, and I don't want that stress going into tomorrow's game. But yeah, I'll be back on Monday for the review because obviously going to the game tomorrow and the time I get back, it's going to be stupid hours. So yeah, Monday, and that'll be around 8 o'clock UK time. I'll be putting a tweet out a couple of hours before and who's going to be on this, that, and the other. I usually do.
I'll definitely give it a watch when I get back from my shift.
Great, I appreciate that. And yeah, until Monday, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy much of the day if you're in the UK tonight because of the results that have gone our way. It's abnormal for 2 of our top 6 teams to drop points, but okay. I'm making the most of it because I think they're both going to be sacked so before Christmas. But yeah, until Monday, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the derby on either side of it, no matter what happens. More so, obviously, from an Arsenal perspective, if you win, great, fantastic. And this, that, and the other, then we move on. And until Monday, up the Arsenal.
Come on, you Spurs.
Oh, God.